At this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee DeBoer. Trustee Trutchell.
Here.
Trustee Pfeiffer.
Here.
Walschlager. Here. Trustee Connor. Trustee Hallquist.
Here.
President Vanderstel.
Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And before the Pledge of Allegiance, a member of our Police and Fire Commission, Ken Patterson, passed away on October 31st, 2022. We will hold a moment of silence for Ken, and then Trustee Pfeiffer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll have a little bit more to say about Ken, but I'll hold that for announcements. At this time, we have public comments for anybody that would like to speak in public comments.
We do have someone on Zoom.
Okay.
Hello, Steve Seakosh, 213 West Park Avenue, and I'm just here to make a couple of comments about the 221 Capitol proposed building. And as a whole, I've got no objections to building and expanding downtown. But speaking for the neighbors and myself, the volume of the building that was proposed at the Plan Commission, the 4 stories tall, there clearly wasn't consideration for parking. What was clear to us sitting here last time, even before discussion was brought up, that there's no way the building would fit with the offset off the street. I don't know if that could be changed, but previous property owners at that property and other properties have all had to abide by, I believe from the curb it's about 45 feet. No, 15 would be like 30 feet. I'm across the street. I've got like 15 from the curb. So there's an offset. There's no way the underground parking would even fit. The plan showed the building going all the way up to the curb, just a couple of feet from it. So a little concern how that would even fit in the first place. But bigger than that, bear with me for a minute. The neighbors and I, we're all for community. That's why we live near downtown. As an example, beer snobs. A couple times a year, they have the outdoor parties out there. You deal with it. I like the music. While that's going on, I can't hear the TV in my house. Now consider the building. On the back of the building, open air wedding parties and bar, all bouncing off the building, coming towards us. And if you just think traditionally, at the different establishments around town, I doubt it's any kind of zoning, but there's always been a consideration for front lot, back lot. In this case, the back lot is residential. Other bars, for the most part, have an offset from residential. In this case, we're talking about potentially drunks staying overnight till the wee hours of the morning, outside smoking, drinking. My property is 100 feet away. There's another property between mine and that. Just like to voice those concerns as the village thinks about the conditional use.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Darcy Sobchak. I live on Meadow. You don't have a sign-in sheet up here, do you know that?
No. You're
Oh, changing it?
just your ad. No, we only do that when there's a lot of people. We put it because it's easier for the clerk to track it. So if you can just say, well, you already said your name, and you already said
I
your
did. I
address,
said the
believe,
street,
so.
not the street number, because I don't like that it gets broadcast on YouTube. Okay, first off, wanted to thank our village clerk and all the polling staff for doing such a great job during early voting and voting day. And I know it's a hard thing these days with all sorts of issues around voting, so thank you very much. A quick mention about St. Charles. The other day I was driving Came from Capitol, was coming down Nixon and turning onto Renson. I came around the corner, obviously going pretty slow because it's a 90-degree turn, but there immediately was a skid steer in the middle of the road, picking up dirt and maneuvering. There was also a very long flatbed truck parked along the north side of Renson. And so it was basically a one-lane road, and the skid steer was in the middle of the road when I came around the corner. And they were before the first entrance to the parking lot. So it was not a lot of space. No signs saying that there's construction occurring at all. Total safety issue, in my opinion. I mean, where I work, if you have a subcontractor, you are responsible for making sure that they follow rules. And so I called the non-emergency number, as always, and reported that, and they were gone by the next time I had driven by. So I don't know how long they were there, but it seems like there's still some ongoing work going on, and I really would like for them to be able to abide by some sort of city laws or regulations about safety. So that way we don't have to worry about it in the community. There was, hold on a second, I don't remember the number. Hold on a second. Okay, thank you. In light of the tragedy that occurred in Hartland with the fire and the homicide, I was wondering if the village has any plans, or if they already do, promote I think it's the 988, the mental health number that you can call in case you have concerns. I was just wondering if the village would be looking at that to see, like if somebody does feel like they are in trouble or they're in an unsafe situation, do we have that advertised on our village website or something like that? Is that kind of thing out there? And if it's not, I would like to see that you consider maybe doing something about that. Okay, and my last thing is a little longer, sorry. Wanted to thank the board again for denying the nomination of Joseph Harder to the school board as the Hartland Lakeside representative. Currently, I think, the meeting has probably started, but currently the Hartland Lakeside is now discussing with a lawyer the statute about being able to appoint and who gets to do that and all that. So I'm happy that that did go back to council, and also happy that the board recognized that if they did not deny Joseph Harder, then they would have been back in the same position a few weeks later, or a month or two later. For the sake of transparency, Mr. Vanderstill described why the board was looking to confirm the position the community thought was filled through April, and we all appreciated that. However, the transparency should not be subjective, and several board members seemed like they were caught by surprise by the appointee that was being nominated. And an open records request shows that discussion between Tom Harder, the dad, and Mr. Vanderstill began as early as August 13th in text messages. And there's even one saying, should I nominate Joseph for this position? And Mr. Vanderstill, to his credit, said, I think this is something you should discuss with your school administration. That's great. However, none of that came to light until some people found about it the morning of. I remember that you, Mrs. Walschlager or Walschlager? Okay. Well, no, you should say it properly.
Walschlager.
Okay, Walschlager. But didn't have any information on the candidate at all. And so it was upsetting to me to know that you had been communicating with Mr. Harder, but much of the board did not know. There were several members on the board who really, really tried to make Ms. Walschlager modify her motion, I think, so that way Joseph would still have a chance to be the nominee, it seemed. And, it's really unfortunate because it seems like there was some backroom dealings of some sort when I read through all those text messages, and it's really disappointing. And, the last thing that I read was that there were some books that Mr. Vanderstill showed to one of the Harder boys. It says John, but I don't know if it was John or Joe, because Joe was the one who was supposed to be nominated for the public library board. And he asked for copies, photos of those books that were questionable in case they showed up in the Hartland Lakeside School District. And I think that transparency-wise, everybody should have been aware of that. If you were making dealings with the school board president, I don't think that's a very forthcoming way to do your job. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak in public comments?
Hi, Val Wisniewski, Ransom Road. For starters, I want to say thank you, Darcy. I agree 100% with everything she said in regards to the library board position. I also want to comment on, since I do live on Renson, there is a lot of traffic on Nixon during pickup time for St. Charles. There's multiple signs along Nixon that say no stopping, standing, or parking on school days between 2 and 4. Today at 3:15, when I came home, there was cars parked from the St. Charles parking lot, or standing, right, because parents were in it, all the way down to Capitol. So that road is very narrow. And when you add the leaves that are in, it's getting home is not good. And I have a 16-year-old now driving, so like it concerns me too. So it'd be nice if somebody maybe talked to the St. Charles again, because they could open up their parking lot, I think, earlier, and that would solve the problem. The last item I wanted to speak about is the building and needs assessment that was discussed at the last board meeting. For starters, I want to make it clear that I am in favor of spending tax dollars to bring our police and fire departments up to where they need to be. Hartland has grown in the last 20 years that I've been here, and we need to make sure our facilities grow with it. So I'm in favor of that. Having said that, it made me think. I've been coming to some board meetings, and I've seen presentations for 5 to 10-year plans when it comes to village vehicles, paving our streets, and even tree replacements. Is there a 5 to 10-year plan about building needs? And here's my point. If there is a 5 to 10-year plan, why wasn't there the building needs assessment done prior to spending $300,000 on this room? If there was a plan, I don't think you guys would have spent $300 first on this room. And knowing that our fire and police departments have been in need of an upgraded facility for a while now, it kind of seems ridiculous to me that this room was prioritized over their needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak in public comments? Person on Zoom?
Anyone on Zoom for public comment?
The first item we have on the agenda is consideration of a village board minutes of October 24th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the village board minutes of October 24th, 2022.
Second.
For the record, I will be abstaining.
Likewise.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the October 24th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. That's not good. The next item we have is considerations of items related to the vouchers. We have approval of a closeout change order in the amount of $7,117.35.
Or extra work that was completed up in the Mary Hill subdivision, Woodlands, Tenney Avenue, Dundee, and West Capitol Drive. East Capitol Drive. It's for stormwater work, it's for curb, and it's also for restoration of that. We budgeted $193,429, and after the extra work in storm sewer work and restoration, it came in at $200,546.35. Staff is recommending that we pay Always Contractors Incorporated for the sum of $7,117.35.
I'll make a motion that we approve the closeout change order of $7,117.35.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that change order for $7,117.35. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have approval for a closeout payment of $4,835.73.
So now that that utility change order was closed out, we'd like to close out the whole 2021 utility project. This $4,835.73 is the retainage. We had a 1-year warranty on it. That warranty has since expired. So again, always Contractors Incorporated is looking for their retainer money back of $4,835.73.
I'll make the motion that we pay the closeout payment of $4,835.73.
That's a second.
It's been moved and seconded to do the closeout payment for $4,835.73. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of vouchers for payments in the amount of $978,471.10.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $978,471.10.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the payment of the vouchers in the amount of $978,471.10. Any discussion?
I have a couple questions.
Did you email any of them?
I talked to Ryan about a couple, but not all of them. This impact expenses, JD Electric, the bridge lights, what bridge was that?
For that was part of the impact money for the bollards, and to complete that project, that was to light up the bridge over Palmer's and the covered bridge that leads from the Senior Tomas Municipal Lot to Riverwalk.
But not, you're talking about like lighting up above?
Nope, they're embedded into the floor of the bridges.
Oh, okay. And one more for you, Dave. I saw on the water utility, a lot of Northern Lake Service, a lot of the bacteria testing, I assume that's what that means. Were there any issues, or are we ever if there is an issue, are we told about it?
Yes,
everything-
you'll be notified because we have to do, they call it recheck sampling. But what you see in there is standard. What we do is 10 samples every month for bacteria, and we do them at all the schools in the village of Hartland.
That's all I had to ask. Thank you.
Anybody else for discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have bartenders, operators licenses, consideration of operators, bartenders licenses. This is for Anna Huck, Tracy Staff, and Nicole Hess.
I'll make a motion that we approve all requests for the operators license for bartenders.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the operators, bartenders licenses for the list. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of a restricted species permit. This is for Gonzalo and Harriet Perez, at 630 Ridgeway Drive. This is for an additional third dog.
Are they
And-
here?
Oh, if you, I don't know, if the board does have questions, they're here. Okay, if you could come forward, we do have a person that has questions.
Hi, I have a couple questions. First of all, the two dogs that you have, Popeye and Olive, what breed are they?
They're a mixed German Shepherd. What else are they?
German Shepherd and Doberman.
And they are licensed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are these dogs allowed outside in a fenced yard during the day or if you're gone?
Yep.
So
Not
they're-
when we're gone, no.
Not when
Not
you're
when we're
gone,
gone,
no?
no.
Okay,
Only when we're home.
okay. And how old is the American Pit Bull Terrier now?
6 months.
6 months old, okay.
Is it-
Okay, and you got that pup when it was 6 weeks old?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you knew, but like one of our ordinances says that animals can be kept on a temporary basis for fostering, but only up to 5 months in a 1-year period. And your current dogs are German Shepherd, those are pretty big dogs.
No, they're
No,
miniatures.
they're miniatures.
Oh, okay. Miniature Dovers? Dover, okay. That's all I had to ask, thank you.
The police department has some unique information on here we wanted to pass on to the board. October 9th, about 2:53 PM, we were called to the area where Mr. Perez lives. An anonymous caller called to report that one of the neighbors in the area got bit by a dog. The 3 dogs were out and running around in the area. The subject who was bit by the dog did not want to make a formal complaint, but the officers were there and talked with Mr. Perez. We talked about licensing. We talked about getting a restricted species permit. And I believe that's how the dogs were licensed, and that's how we got here. I'm not sure about the specifics of the dog bite, but we just wanted to make sure you guys had the information.
And there was a hole in the fence, but there is no longer, we think?
From
No,
what
it
I
was
understand,
fixed.
there was a hole in the fence,
Right.
but he fixed it immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
So the dogs got out accidentally with the intent to keep them contained?
I believe his intent was to have them fenced in.
Right.
Yes.
And then somehow a hole got in the fence and
One of the boards fell off the fence and fell into the neighbor's yard, and that's how they got through. It took them 3 yards before they even got out.
Is there any more specific details on that bite?
Well, it
Was
should be
clothing?
noted
Did it
that
break skin?
the
No.
gentleman who was bit did not think it was a major deal. He said it was a minor incident, did not want to report it. The whole reason that we were there is because there was a third party who called in, and she was concerned because she was trying to go to work.
Do you happen to know which dog it was that bit somebody?
Popeye.
Popeye.
I'm sorry?
Popeye.
Okay.
He's saying Popeye, but I think the report says Carlito.
No.
He's just saying, sir, he's just saying what the report says.
Report says he advised the third dog, Carlito, was a pit bull. Carlito was the dog that had bitten the citizen who did not want anything done about the incident. That's what the report says.
Oh,
Okay.
I wasn't there, so I can't comment on.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Understand.
yeah.
And nothing else from any other neighbors? Were the 2 dogs that were originally there before this dog already licensed? Did they only get licensed after this incident?
I would be speculating, but the way I read the report is that all the dogs were licensed after the incident took place.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
May I ask one more question? Who were you fostering the dog for? A group or?
We're not fostering.
Oh, you're not fostering. You've
No.
had this dog that long?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've had the 3 dogs for a while?
So Popeye and Oliver are a year and a half old, and Carlito's 6 months. And we got him as family.
And how long have you lived in your, do you own your home?
No.
Okay.
rent.
You rent it?
2004.
Okay. And whoever owns it, do they know about the dogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're okay with 3 dogs?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Fully aware that it is 100% your responsibility to make sure that, once the dogs get out, then it's on them. But
Yeah.
if they
No,
get
it's
out,
just
no
a-
matter what, whether it's a board that breaks,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, because if a kid gets bit or something
Right.
like that, and there's a hole in the
I
fence,
understand
it's
that.
the responsibility of the human being and not the dog, because the dog's
Right.
gonna be a dog.
Yeah.
If I'd have known that hole was in the fence, it would have been repaired immediately. I didn't know about it until after the dog was in.
I know, and if none of this would've happened, then we wouldn't be here getting the permits, but basically, you're kinda here saying, please let us keep our
Correct.
dogs, because now the police are aware of it, because there's been an incident where someone was bitten. Do we know if it broke skin, or do we not know?
I'm looking for it.
Nada?
He didn't want any action. He said it was minor in his opinion, and that's about all it speaks to
Yeah.
on that.
I've talked to him a couple of times since then. and it did not break skin. And he said it might have been his fault because he tried to grab him from the neck, you know, to try and catch him. So, but he just nipped at him.
So he was trying to catch the dog, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dog didn't go at him?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
It should also be noted that everybody wanted to, the caller wanted to remain anonymous, and the.
I gathered on
The
that,
person
too,
who
which-
was
yeah.
bit did not want to make a complaint.
Okay. All right. I'm good with it. Any other discussion? Sorry, we didn't get a motion. Anybody want to make a motion, one way or the other?
Make a motion that we approve the restricted species permit for the Perez family.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the restricted species permit. If you don't have anything to add, I want to add one caveat, that it gets stressed, that you need to abide by the laws. Since you've had an incident now, you have to abide by the laws, or obviously
understand.
further measures would be taken,
I understand it.
without as much empathy as may be shown here today. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
Is there anything we have to do now?
They'll let you know anything you have to do legally. Other than that, I mean, if you are even in question, that's scaring me. You can talk to the police department, make sure your fence is fixed, and maybe put them on a leash while they're in the backyard, because then it won't matter if the fence breaks.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Perez, thank you for your service.
I think you're good. As long as they're licensed, that you're good as far as we're concerned, and they're issuing you the permit, so you should be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, have a good night.
You too, thank you. Now we have items related to bill for an ordinance 9-26, 2022, an ordinance to amend Chapter 46 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to zoning ordinances. The first one of which is, the first thing, which is a public hearing to consider amendments to the zoning code, Chapter 46, which is 46-494, conditional use in the B3 district. Scott, do you want to come and touch on anything? No? Okay. Well, at this time, we will open that public hearing for anybody that would like to speak. Anybody? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, last call. Anybody that'd like to speak in the public hearing? With that, we'll close the public hearing. And now we have a consideration of adoption of a bill for an ordinance 9-26, 2022, an ordinance to amend Chapter 46 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to zoning, to zoning ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded to approve bill for an ordinance number 9-26-2022, an ordinance to amend Chapter 46 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to zoning ordinance. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration of a conceptual plan for development of a multi-use building at 221 Cottonwood Avenue. Sir, as you go, and I really want to cap it at this. We have a big meeting. I want to cap this at no more than 10 minutes, so if you could leave some time for questions.
Got
I'm
it.
hoping that that's enough. Obviously, if it makes it through
I'm
this, you
just
have to
gonna
do it
address
again anyways at Plan
The
Commission.
concerns of before instead of explaining the whole project.
Sure. No, just wanted, I
Kinda
wanted you to
speed it
be
up.
aware ahead of time so you didn't think I'm just cutting you off.
Okay, to start off, last meeting, which was a planning meeting, there was some concerns about the height of the building. So we went back to the drawing board and we cut the fourth floor. Not only did we cut the fourth floor, but if you go to the west edge of the building, we cut the gables off of there to lower that side. And if you go to page 201, A201, you will also see I had the architect put in the level of the ground of the neighbor to the west. This leaves our roof line give or take, because we haven't done real plans yet, about 22, 23 feet high. That is lower than every house going up the street. Every house going up the street is a two-story with gables that are in the 25-foot range. So we wanted to pull the building down so that wasn't any taller than the neighbors' houses. So that is number one. We took off the 4th floor. We eliminated the mixed use. It's all commercial now. We eliminated the apartments. So floors number 1 did not change at all from before. It is still the event center. It is the 3,000 square foot of rental, the lobby, and hotel front desk. And floors 2 and 3 are just hotel rooms. And we've cut that down to 48 hotel rooms with the 2 floors. We have 32 parking spaces in the underground, and we have 16 on the edge of the property. So our parking spaces for our core business are on our property. The parking spaces for the commercial would be the municipal lot, so whatever rents the 3,000 square feet would use either the street or the commercial lot, like most of the businesses downtown, and events. The events which we expect to be, hopefully, we would expect and hope that there would be 40 a year, they would be on the street parking. The hotel is half extended stay. There are 2 executive suites, which are very large. I think they're in the 800 square foot range. And then you have 4 accessible rooms, what they used to call handicap rooms in some people's terminology, but now we call them accessible. And the rest are typical hotel rooms other than size. Typical hotel room is 300 square feet. Ours are all in the 450-ish range. So it makes for a luxury hotel. Our goal, and I'm hoping that we can achieve it if we build the building for the 3,000 square foot, is a restaurant. We cannot achieve, when we built the Watershed Restaurant in Sheboygan, we got the highest rating from Google and Expedia, which is 3-star. The reason we can't get any higher than 3-star is because you have to have a restaurant on site to get 4 stars. So that's why our hope is to get, we will be building a 4-star restaurant, but it will only be rated that if we get the restaurant in that place. As far as noise, all events are over by 11. There is no music. There are no speakers. There are nothing in the outside space. Anytime there will be music playing, there will only be on the inside space with the doors closed. We realize that any noise that would be loud music, bands, or anything in the outdoor space would be, for all intents and purposes, it would be leaving the property. I'm sure there's a noise ordinance in town like everything else. I don't think it would pass that. The reason that we have the garage doors and open spaces, there's other times that there isn't music playing that we might want to open up. And there's other types of events that we will be opening up the doors and stuff. But for a typical wedding, doors will be closed, music is inside, everything shuts down at 11. We just had an event at the Watershed last Saturday, and we had that event shut down at 10. Everybody's out of the building at 10:30. We don't have, as the terminology was said, a bunch of drunks standing around. That's just not how weddings are. The brides realize in their contracts, remember, this is not a typical bar where someone's going in. We have contracts with the bride and the bride's family, who typically pay for this, that anybody who gets into that condition has to leave. It just does, it's not like a regular bar. You can go in and get drunk and you're not responsible, nobody's responsible for you. We make people responsible for their guests. One of the reasons hotels work out with event space is for this reason. If someone does not want to drive, they can have a room and they can stay the night instead of driving. So it makes that part of it safe. This event that we had was a wedding rehearsal dinner on Saturday. It was 60 people. I would say probably 25 of those people stayed in the hotel. We had 20 rooms, 19 rooms, I think it really was, 19 rooms. These people drank, they went to their room, and that was the end of the night. You know, and that's gonna be pretty typical here. That's why the hotel and the event space are combined. We did keep, again, if you go to page 201, we kept the gables and the 1212 roof to the front, meaning to the cottonwood, to create a presence of building. But on the Park Avenue one, we only kept the gable above the door of the commercial space. We did not, any of the other doors that are along the street, we didn't put any canopies on them, and we did not raise the roofs in any of those areas. And part of the reason that those doors that go along Cottonwood don't have canopies is they're not for entrance. They're only emergency exits. Entrances will be through the hotel main entrance and then on its way into the event space. So all of our traffic, when the event is over, traffic meaning foot traffic, is exiting onto Cottonwood, or they're going down to the basement for a parking space if they're staying in a hotel. So we're not dumping people on the Cottonwood, we're not dumping people out through the doors to get into the ceremony space and going out on the street on Park Avenue. Our people will be directed to go out to Cottonwood and then disperse from there. So I'm open for any questions.
I have several, but if somebody else wants to go first. Okay. What is the total square footage for the outdoor event space?
I think it was 2,200 square feet.
2,200?
Again, these are concepts, so they're not set up, but I think it's 2,200 square feet.
Okay. And the employees for the rental area would be how, roughly, I mean, if it was an office at that amount of space?
If it was an office, you could, 3,000 square feet, you would typically have at max 10 people. If it's a restaurant, about the same.
Is that where you would try to put a restaurant then?
That's the 3,000 square foot, our goal, to make this clear. You know, a lot of people put rental space up for rent with a broker. Our goal is to be finding a restaurant. We want the right
And the
mix.
event hotel, how many employees are you projecting there approximately?
The Watershed, we run 4 people for 25 rooms. So I would expect this hotel to have 6 to 8. Now, remember that when you say employees, our events will be catered. They
Correct.
will not be our employees. They
Well,
will
I'm
be the
looking
caterers.
at like your front desk, housekeeping, engineering, or fixing things.
Right.
We have a resort
8.
with 40 rooms.
8.
And so, okay, so you're thinking
No,
8.
and again, when you say that, for example, the Watershed, we don't have housekeepers. We contract out to a cleaning company. The reason we do that is if you have a housekeeper, typically a housekeeper will work from 9 to 5. So you'll have someone there 8 hours, cleaning rooms then. We have a contracting firm come in. We text them in the morning how many rooms we got that are turning over. They will send 2 people, 1 person, 3 people, 4 people. Their window is shortened to 11 to 3. Why do we shorten to 11 to 3? 11 is check out, 3 is check in.
You would still need somebody there, though, in case somebody needs extra towels, sheets, something
That's
happens in
front
the
desk.
room, okay.
Front desk in our other boutique hotel does laundry, and front desk does things like services like that.
My next question is the street parking on Park. Would that be private parking or public?
It's public parking, but
My reason, okay, now I'm gonna go through my reasons for asking these. That parking, I know the way the roof is, especially in winters like I'm afraid what we're gonna have now, our plows go through, and that's close to our building, so they're probably gonna go through early in the morning. Sun comes out, and on those roofs, it tends to slide off, and then we
this
get.
is flat roof.
The whole roof is flat? So
Well,
you're saying none of the snow?
80% of it is flat. The other roofs are 12-12 with a gutter system. It's not, these aren't steel roofs like on commercial buildings where it's sliding off, because that would be extremely dangerous in a 3-story building. I mean, like killing people dangerous.
Okay.
So they will not be like this. This will be a roof, this will be an asphalt roof, just like on your home. So this will have a gutter system for it to melt.
So we
and-
won't have any snow sliding off?
Well, I'm not gonna
Well,
say
we'll
that
have-
there
well, I
would
mean-
never be, but I have a 12-12 roof on my home, which is much more roof than this smaller part here. I've never had a snow slide ever.
I'm looking at A100,
Yes.
and where the property line, the dashed line is, I assume that's the property line? It appears that part of the building actually goes over the property line into whatever I don't know, right away.
And that's the overhang. And again, these are not finished plans. If it has to be backed up a few inches or a foot, or the overhang has to be taken off.
Okay,
So you can have a gable like that where you have it flush with the wall. If we have to cut a couple foot off the building, again, these are concept and that there are
I do
rules
want to
and
jump in just
regulations.
for a second and stress that this is,
just for concept. I know.
it's concept and that what's on paper, the only thing this decides tonight, in all honesty, is whether it goes to the plan commission on where everything starts getting tightened up and it really gets, for lack of a better term, attacked so that Hartland gets what they want. I just wanted to stress that because it's, yep, no, go ahead.
I'll
What you
summarize.
see here is $20,000 worth of work.
Okay,
When you see a real set of plans, that will be $250,000 worth of architectural work.
well,
There's a lot more involved in that.
without going into all of my details, which there are quite a few, I'll just summarize this in saying that your total square footage of 45,498, you have 32 parking underground, one of those is handicapped, 16 on the road, which I believe 2 are handicapped. And according to the calculations that I did, and this is not as many employees as you had, you would need to provide, and this isn't public parking, this is you would need to provide 99.87 parking spaces, which you're not even close. I still, and I have more details on that, but I'll let that sit. I still feel that this, I love the idea of this, I really do, but this is not the property for that. This, the footprint of this, I feel is still not right for that lot. And again, that's without going into all the details that I've spent 4 days going through. So you have to somehow come up with more parking and handicap for the vans. You need, you know, total of 4 for handicap and 1, 2, 3 for the vans. So I'm done. Thank you.
DBW or police, I think you could cover this. I do have a question. And actually, more for police, not including municipal lots, is a funeral considered an event? Let's say, I'm gonna say a funeral would be considered an event. I'm talking where you have a mass amount of cars and people going to one place.
I would agree with
Do
that.
either one of you know, not including municipal parking, how many spots the funeral home in Hartland has?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Do you have a guess? An estimate?
10.
Thank you.
Question regarding that?
Sure.
How old is that funeral home? How long has it been here?
As long as I've been here, 28 years.
Well, I've been here since '61 and it was here. So I'm just asking when it was built. So I would assume that's grandfathered into before we had these rules? Okay, just asking, thank you.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else with discussion on this? So at this time, if anybody wants to make a motion to send it to Plan Commission, they can. We can make any motion we want, obviously.
If you would move it to Plan Commission, that would be conceptual next Monday.
I'll make a motion to approve the concept so that the planning commission can review next week.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the concept and simply indicating that it gets sent on to Plan Commission for the concept review at Plan Commission. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That motion is carried. The next item, thank you. The next item we have is discussion and consideration of Resolution 1114, 2022-01. This is a resolution approving the sewer utility rate effective first quarter 2023.
So this would just be a 5% rate increase. We've done this for probably the last 7 or 8 years with the sewer utility so that we don't get caught in a place where we have to do a large increase like the water utility. This comes out to about $20 to $25 per year for a residential customer using 18,000 gallons a quarter.
Motion that we approve the resolution approving the sewer utility rate effective first quarter 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded approving that sewer utility rate effective first quarter 2023. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is discussion and consideration of Resolution 1114-2022-02, a resolution amending Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Hartland concerning the schedule of municipal fees and charges.
So again, this is just essentially putting something behind the food truck, because we have an ordinance in place, but we don't have any fees. But again, I'm not sure exactly what the board is looking for. I did talk to the president today, so just trying to figure out what everybody wants to do for this. As he kind of brought up, we do have places that have, entertainment licenses, those type of things. So we could do that where you just have essentially an ordinance for a business, not necessarily a bar, but any business that would want to have one. They could get an annual fee. They would have a permit that they would give to the truck drivers. Essentially, we just say police will run a background on anybody they have in the ordinance. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways we can go with this. I just, what on here, I'm showing $75 per single use and $750 for an annual permit. So that would give that business essentially $750 would be unlimited food trucks, but we don't really have a food truck issue, so I'll let you guys talk, and we don't have to do anything today, but.
Ryan, when you say annual, you're talking calendar year or the purchase date?
In the ordinance, it says Memorial Day through Labor Day for
That's
food
what I
trucks,
thought.
but the village board can extend that beyond if they want.
I guess I will throw in today, I did talk with Ryan some. I got a call from one of the business owners that was, not only is it one of the only business that's been running food trucks, not as a caterer. Keep in mind, if someone pays a food truck to come and they're serving the food and there's not cash happening at the window and it's not open to the public, that's catering, even though it's being served out of a food truck. Where a food truck is where somebody comes and parks and that food truck is doing business with cash and is purchasing. That I had originally thought that it was a good idea to go at it from the high end, and we can always lower things when it comes to fees. There's part of me that I see that business owner's point, that they feel like it's just coming at them, because currently we only have one business that it's really going to affect. And it doesn't mean that I think we have to have a permit where something is paid, just so that the village can track it, and so it doesn't get out of control. That's why even for dartboards, pool tables, jukeboxes, all of that, inside of any of these establishments in Hartland, they gotta pay a fee. A jukebox, you're making, maybe $100 a month. On a dartboard, you're making maybe $100 a month. And, it's a $25 fee per year, annually. And we can start low and go high. We can leave it as it is. I do see that business owner's point, and I see the village's point. We don't want to see 250 food trucks just all over. We don't want to see the vacant lot by Beebles all of a sudden say, hey, we could use that. Let's charge $200 and we're going to have a food truck park all summer long right across from, an established restaurant in Hartland. We don't want to see that. Right? That's my understanding, is that right now we don't want to see that. So I think we need to pay something. I know that business owner is frustrated. It's up to us on what we want to do. Do we want to start low, and then if it gets out of control, we raise it up? I know that in talking to that business owner, they felt $75 a year was too high. I'm just letting you know because I'm filling you in on the conversation. So I did call to talk with Ryan saying, hey, maybe, I don't know.
President Vanderstel, I think we ought to start low. I don't see a reason why we haven't had an issue in the village with food trucks up to this point. And I think just having having a smaller fee, something like $50 or maybe even less, $25. Something that would be allowing us to document the use of that food truck, and I think that's all we really need at this point, in my opinion. I don't think we need to make it counterproductive and have a large fee that would be associated towards that food truck or the business owner.
Sorry, I was just looking at the ordinance, because technically we could still adopt it. We would just have to amend it, never reprint it. Or, I'm sorry, resolution, sorry.
I'd actually prefer, if we're gonna go that other route, that I could
Table it.
possibly approve this the 28th, if that's what everybody seems to want, so that I can talk to our police chief, just to look at what our current ordinance is on the books compared to this resolution. I want to make sure everything that you guys have a desire to do, we can do, because in there we do talk about if somebody has a food truck that, you know, it gets a permit, and that the police have the opportunity to do a background check on that owner. Again, most of the food trucks that come once they do it once, you're gonna have that same food truck, you know, several times. It's not like.
Yeah, you might have 10 different food trucks, 2 times each or 3 times each, or whatever.
You know, and if.
Maybe not 10, maybe.
If another business had that same food truck, we've ran a police background, we've looked into it. So if that's the way we wanna go, I can actually just leave that fee schedule blank, and we could, you know, you guys could come up with that, with whatever you want on the 28th. I would just prefer to talk to the village attorney he's here too now. But village attorney and police chief, just to make sure we're good with what we have. It isn't an issue right now. I don't know that we'll ever have a food truck issue. A lot of communities don't. I think the concern originally with all this was a food truck literally could park on the street.
Right, which we've had.
And we couldn't have done anything as long as they moved their wheels every 2 hours. So we've taken that out of the hands.
I have one question, I'm confused. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. The $750 says for an annual permit for the food vendor. Is that something that like, say, ABC bar or whatever, or store, would they be able to purchase the annual, whatever the fee is, and bring in any food vendor, or is that just for one specific? Or does the food vendor pay for that, and then he or she can go to any business in town?
So essentially,
I'm confused.
what I've gained from kind of talking to the president about this would be, just like any license, once they get that machine in the building, we don't know who that company is. So they would apply for a permit. So any local business around here, if they applied for a permit, they could have food trucks on their presence. They would pay the $25 or $50 annual fee for a permit, but we would just need to know those food trucks so that they can do a background check.
So it's per business, not actually per food
Correct.
truck?
Or locate, kind of like a dartboard. how we
Okay,
have the
okay,
dartboard license
okay,
on it.
okay, I misunderstood, I'm
Yep.
glad I asked, thank you.
So if that same food truck went to 4 different businesses within Hartland, there would be 4 food truck permits out, because
Okay,
those would be
gotcha.
tied to that locale.
Gotcha, okay.
So I would like to be consistent. Currently, we are charging $75 for a food truck in the parks. So if we were to lower it to 50 or 25 for this application, then I think we're going to have some feedback from the vendors that come into the parks. So I would like to be consistent on whatever we choose. I think 75 is fine. So I just want to make that notice to everybody on that, so.
I appreciate what you're saying, Tim, because I do agree with you, or trustee, sorry.
No, everyone knows who I am.
When it's at the business, they're using the business's electricity, and they're using the property that the business is paying tax on. Do you think it makes any difference that in the park,
Well-
it's village property that the village taxpayers are paying for, that we have?
Okay, so if you're
I'm
gonna.
just asking.
No, yeah, it does make a difference. So, therefore, all the restaurants here are paying fees to Waukesha County and all that because they have a restaurant. So because this particular restaurant or bar does not have a restaurant, he's not paying that fee. So
Right.
why are we penalizing the other restaurants? Because they have to pay because, for the inspection and Waukesha, I don't know all the,
Right.
usually all the
Right.
government bodies, but.
Yep.
But so currently, he just has to pay one fee or doesn't have to
Right.
pay anything. So,
I
you
mean,
know,
I'm okay with
just-
this.
I just wanna
75
be
is 75, I'm fine.
I just want to
would-
be fair.
I wouldn't
just
want
wanna
to
be
see us
fair to
lower
all the other
parks.
business owners as well, that's all.
And I think where you're going is they have personal property taxes they pay above their regular, real property tax. for the
Right.
Commercial grill. So I think 75 is a.
Right,
fair.
and if you know, I don't, 750 might be a little high for the year, maybe, you know, since there is no issues right now, maybe we can lower that to an annual fee and then if it all of a sudden gets out of hand, then we can raise the
That-
price.
Right, like right now, I mean,
You know.
if I understood you correctly, you were saying you would be okay with 75 as an annual fee, or were you talking per?
75 on the one time, and then, because that's what we currently have for the parks. And so then, on the annual, that we could lower that from 750 because we don't have an issue right now. And then if it becomes an issue, then we can raise it. And what that price could be, or fee could be, is whatever we determine. I mean, that's just my opinion.
That one's a tough one, because the parks is, well, for me, I think the parks is, I mean, that's public land that's being used. If you go on your own private property, even if it's business property and have a picnic, you don't have to pay, but if you want it reserved in
Can we
a
have
park-
two separate fees then, public property and private property?
That's what we're going to have. That's what this does, I believe,
Okay.
does it not? Yeah, this is a
Okay.
separate fee.
All right.
Now, we may rate, if it gets out of hand, I mean, I'll be the first to say, we don't want it hurting, we do not want it hurting our current restaurants. that we
No,
have.
that's my point. So I guess we could, like what Ryan put down, 750, we could do that for public, and we could put something lower for private property.
Right, are we even gonna have it for public, though? Because you can't get a whole annual for the park.
Yeah,
Well-
I don't know that a place would have enough,
I don't know if they'd want to come in, but,
correct.
I mean, that's,
And we can't do it on the street.
Well,
Let's table it and let's talk a little more. Then maybe let's give some of our feedback to Ryan. I mean, and we can continue to talk about it. I do want consistency. I do think it's different whether it's park property. Just like I think it's a difference if someone's having a block party and they bring a catered food truck in for that block party, or if someone just opens a food truck on the street, two different situations, you know.
I mean, initially, when we set up the $75 fee, there was a little give back, but now everybody's used to it, and so no one objects to it. So if we were to lower that fee, just because we have one business owner that is complaining about it, doesn't necessarily mean we have to make changes.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
yeah, and currently we do not have issues, you know, some other municipalities around here, have them where every Wednesday, every Friday, you know, they're always at a place. We currently do not have that issue. I know there are people who want to have have a food truck event. So I'm sure there will be things like that. In our park, we have people that want to just have a food truck festival. So I'm sure going forward, we'll have things like that. But we're just trying to avoid the food truck that comes, sets up every day in a business that might take away from other local businesses. So I agree, it's not an issue right now. We could start low. You can always amend this resolution down the road. But I think the best thing for today would probably be to go to the 28th so that everybody has time
I agree.
to think on this.
I agree. I think we should make it, unless there's more for discussion, I think we should table it. Does anybody have more discussion before someone may table it? Are you good with that, trustee Hallquist?
Yeah.
Tabling it, then we have time
We
to
can table.
mull it over.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I heard from several of you, and the fees were I think it's gonna be hard for all six, and when Rick's back, 7 of you to agree on, we're taking a shot in the dark, and so.
Really happy when we're done with the food truck stuff. It's been like 3 years.
Well, I mean, just a closing thought, I don't want to make it so cheap that everybody and their brother's going to come in.
Right.
You know, that's.
And that was our
that's-
idea originally
That's what we
with that
don't want,
fee.
so.
So the hard part is currently we have no fee, and we're not having, maybe people don't know they can, but, you know, we haven't had a ton of them yet, so
Right.
that's the only positive.
I'll make a motion that we table this until the 28th.
It's been moved and seconded to table this issue until the next village board meeting on the 28th. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item that we have this gets fun now, guys. This is where the fun happens. So we're going to start going through items that are on the budget. We've been working on the budget since September. Everybody has a right to ask any question or say anything they can. I would just hope that if someone did bring something up, that someone's been made aware of, whether it be a department head, Ryan. Before we even get going, is there anybody that has a lot of stuff on the budget? Typically what happens is I start reading through them, and then there's a motion, there's a second, there's a vote. There can be discussion at any time. I'm just saying,
What I'm saying, item A, we-
no, I know, there's discussion. I was just kind of preempting. So, item number 8 on our agenda is consideration of items related to the 2023 village budget as shown on tab 1, page 8, and tab 31, page 1 and 2 of the 2023 budget book. All information after tab 1 is for informational purposes only. These figures may be modified by the village board during final consideration at this meeting. So, the first item is discussion of the 2023 budget.
All right, so we left off at our budget meeting, we needed to find, I want to say it was around $42,000. When we went into Public Works in their budget, on their budget tab, we had $60,000 of overtime included in their salaries as well, so that found 60 of it. We had some raises for someone in the police department, so like back and forth. Health insurance decreased. Right now, we're at a place where we have a contingency of $6,802. Last year, we had a contingency of $87,921. So all said, I forget if I emailed you guys exactly what the mill rate. Yeah, it's about a 2-cent increase, but remember that, that's part of that, our equalized value jumped up 17%. So most people won't see any change. Next year, we're doing a full reval. So people, that's where you we get the same amount of money. So if we have a levy of what is our general levy? 4.974876.
That's ours right now.
That's the general levy. So when we do a full reval, everybody's taxes would either go up or down, and we would still get that same 4.9. When we do a reval, we don't get additional tax money. You just take that and you're spreading it out evenly based on the new values. But that's a next year question, or next year item. Just trying to think.
Can you explain what a reval is, just so I'm not confused?
Yeah, so currently, the way everything works is the state gives you an equalized value for the municipality, and then our assessors have an assessed value. So when you get to a certain percentage, you should always do a reval. We just did one 4 years ago, so we're doing it every 4 years. And in those 4 years, we went to, do you remember what percent I said we were at? 82? 82%. Anything under 90, you should have a reval. There are communities out there like 60 or 70% because the housing market exploded. But your assessment, you can't chase sales, so they don't look and say, okay, we're gonna, up the prices. So when we do the reval, I'm guessing a lot of your homes that are in that 200 or 230 that now sold for 290, those are gonna go up. And some of your homes, if we go up 20% and your home goes up 10, your taxes will actually go down because there are people who went above and beyond that their taxes will go up. All it's doing is allocating the taxes fairly for the reval and getting homes up to market value.
Can I add, that 82% we're talking, just letting everybody know, because of inflation and people paying way over market price, which doesn't, that gives the impression of inflation, but that's people chasing for the supply and demand here. When Ryan says 82%, that means that our evaluation is 82% accurate. Now, 4 years ago when we did this, they had not done a full reval, I don't believe, in 10 years. And we were at, I believe, 90%.
Yeah.
That's how fast, in 4 years, this changed with these markets. It's unprecedented. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. It's not that the taxes will change over the next year and a half. It's that the evaluations on certain homes will, but there will be some people are gonna be really mad but hopefully we can get that message out that it's not their taxes that changed. It's the value of their homes, because their neighbor's house and their other neighbor's house sold for 40,000 above asking price, and now they're up there.
So a couple things too quick with this. Our general fund tax levy, the only increase is the maximum allowed under the state, which is our net new construction. So that means when that property comes onto our tax roll, any value associated with that, we're gonna get that tax money. So I believe that number was around 215, 230,000. We're taking that additional increase because it's those new homes or properties coming on, giving us that value to help pay for services. Our debt levy has stayed the same as last year, so there is no increase for our debt levy. One of the only other, so we did the sewer rate increase. The only other increase would be the garbage fee. I'm showing a fee of around $190. We will have a new provider effective January 1st. It will be GFL. We met with, this was a county bid process. Most municipalities went up to around $210 to $230 when they met with us. The reason we had good quotes is Waste Management and GFL both are in Hartland. Both are located here. So for them, the hauling, everything is much easier. So our costs are fairly cheap. $190 for a year of garbage is that's pretty cheap. A lot of, if any of you own a private business, you know how expensive it is to have the garbage service. So that's it. There haven't been many changes. Like I said, the health insurance, the DPW salary number, but other than that, there's no significant changes since the last time you saw it. Questions, we can take them. And again, this is a budget. The goal is always to be under budget, but we'll see what inflation does for us.
Ready to go?
I'm ready.
Is everyone ready?
And if, once this is approved, there is a tab 1. There's 10 pages with that. Once the budget is approved, I finish those. That's why you just have certain tabs. Because once you guys finish everything else, I can complete everything else, and then I will get an electronic copy. If people want a paper copy, I can do that as well. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
All right. Discussion is done, so we will move on to the next item, which is B, consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 municipal general fund budget in the amount of $8,072,595 shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Aye.
Trustee
Yes or
Pfeiffer?
no's, please. Yeas or nays?
Yay.
Yay.
Trustee Walsliger? Yay. Trustee Halquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. That motion carries. Next, we have a consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 water utility budget in the amount of $2,431,954 shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2023 water utility budget in the amount of $2,431,954, tab 1, page 8. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Walsliger? Yay. Trustee Halquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. That motion carries. The next item that we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 sewer utility budget in the amount of $1,985,950 as shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Yay. Trustee Halquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. That motion carries. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 TIF number 4 budget in the amount of $320 as shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 TIF number 6 budget in the amount of $155,000.
TIF number 5.
Sorry, I apologize. The item we are on now is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 TIF number 5 budget in the amount of $16,155 as shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Trustee Walschlager?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist? President Vanderstel?
Yay. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 TIF number 6 budget in the amount of $155,660 as shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Walschlager?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
Yay. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 debt service budget in an amount of $1,944,410 as shown on tab 1, page 8 of the 2023 budget book.
Also move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Walschlager?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 capital improvements impact fee and special revenue and other funds in the amount of $3,864,586 for a total village expenditure budget in the amount of $26,544,200, in the total amount of $26,544,225.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer?
Yay.
Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Walschlager?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to authorize a downtown business improvement district tax assessment of $74,800 as requested by the bid board.
So move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve a property tax levy in the amount of $6,808,484.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer?
Yay.
Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Trustee Walschlager? Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
Yay. Next item on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve the 2023 payroll matrix on tab 31, page 2.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer? Trustee Trutchell?
Yay.
Trustee Pfeiffer?
Yay.
Walschlager?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. Those all passed for the budget section. Now we have consideration of Hartland Business Improvement District 2023 budget, which we just also approved.
I still wanted to call it out, so you guys approved it. This is presented and put forth by the bid. You guys just have authority over approving it, but again, it's not our money, it's their money. We just write the checks.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item is consideration of a motion to confirm appointments of Elise Miller, Marilyn Haroldson, and Nick Jensen to the Downtown Business Improvement District Board with terms to expire in 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the names as read for the downtown bid.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve those members to the bid board with terms expiring in 2025.
Question. How does one become nominated or become a bid member?
tell someone on the bid,
That they-
or you can state it here. I mean, if any, or you could let Ryan know.
No, it's not me, someone
But
else
I mean,
asked
if
me.
you know of someone, you can let either the village office, or you can actually call the bid office. They do have a separate website. They have a number. If you need to get an email address or anything, you can contact the village and they'll get you in contact. They are always looking for
Okay.
people to get involved on not only the bid board, but also committees.
Okay, very good.
You have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of revisions to the employee handbook.
All right, so this has been in the process for about 2 years as well. Staff has gone through it. This was sent to the League of Wisconsin Municipalities for their attorneys to review it. Our village attorney, Hector De La Mora and Von Briesen, reviewed it, and then staff reviewed it again. Just some of the significant changes that I want to point out. There are 2 holidays that the village has that are half-day holidays that we are looking to make full holidays. I gotta say the correct phrase. Spring holiday, which is always the Friday of Good Friday, and New Year's Eve would become full holidays instead of half-day holidays. Other than that, items changed. A lot of it is cleanup, but it has, the FMLA, all the laws like that have so much it changed. Going forward, what we want to do is just have an annual review of it with our attorney, just to make sure any of the rules, laws that have changed. We do have something in there for comp time that the max bank for employees now would be 80 hours. Previously, we had no bank for comp time, so if employees plowed and plowed and plowed, they could take 4 weeks off down the road, so. Those are just some of the changes, but yeah, as I said, this went through staff, 2 different law firms, and then staff again, so. I would, if you do approve it, I would request that you make it effective 1/1/2023, because otherwise we'll get a free half holiday, but.
Make the motion that we approve the revisions to the employee handbook effective 1/1/23.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the revisions to the employee handbook. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Next, we have consideration of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Hartland and Waukesha County.
So this is sent over by Waukesha County to the village, just stating that we will be part of a municipal recycling dividend program. A couple of years ago, they used to give quite a lot of dividend money to the village, and recyclables went significantly down. We let everyone in the county come and use our site. We are now village only, but they are starting to do dividend money again. They took some municipal ownership, some people in municipalities joined and said, hey, let's get a fund balance, because they ran out of all their money and things got in a pretty bad place. So we're just joining this as a responsible unit for recycling to get grant money or dividend money down the road. We're staying. This is an annual renewal.
I was going to say, this isn't the first time this has been signed.
Nope. But we are keeping it Heartland residents only.
Make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Hartland and Waukesha County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Hartland and Waukesha County. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to committee appointments by Village President Fannerstill. We have a consideration of appointments to Environmental Corridor and Open Space. This is Linda Hallquist and Dave Van Thiel.
I'll make a motion that we approve the appointments to the Environmental Corridor and Open Space of Linda Hallquist and Dave Van Thiel.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve both of those appointments. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried.
Abstain.
The next item we have is consideration of appointments to Ice Age Trail Community Committee. This appointment is for Jacob Zool.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment to the Ice Age Trail Community Committee of Jacob Zool.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Jacob Zool on the Ice Age Trail Community Committee. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of denial for insurance claim by Progressive Insurance Company.
Real quick with this one, there was an accident. One of our officers did a U-turn and a person in the vehicle behind that was stopped decided to go forward and hit him. That person was actually, we believe, issued a citation, and this is just standard. They're trying to come at us to say we were at the fault, and we are showing no fault, so we are requesting that you deny this claim.
After reading, I think we need to make a motion of denial on this insurance claim by Progressive.
I'll second that.
We're going to accept that as the motion, even though you said I think we need to. It has been moved and seconded to deny the insurance claim that was sent forth by Progressive Insurance Company. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to Catalyst Lightning Development Departments. These are somewhat standard. Consideration of acceptance of dedicated public infrastructure.
So the majority of this project is private, but there are some public sections of it. You can see normally we're accepting $500,000, $2 million of utilities. This we're only accepting, it looks maybe around like 50,000 of utilities for certain items. So they just, at some point, they have to turn it over to us, and that's this. And this is, R&M is good with them. Rupert and Milky is good with us taking this public acceptance.
Make a motion that we accept the dedicated public infrastructure.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the dedicated public, acceptance of the dedicated public infrastructure for the Catalyst Lightning Development Departments. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of acceptance of the site improvements to be substantially conforming to the PUD agreement, development plans, and village standard specifications contingent on approval by Rupert and Milky and village staff of the successful completion of all outstanding punch list items by June 30th, 2023.
I so move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the site improvements by substantially conforming to the PUD agreement, development plans, village standard specifications, contingent on approval by Rupert Milky and village staff of successful completion of all outstanding punch list items by June 30th, 2023. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of partial release of deed restrictions in certain recorded documents. Obviously, this is all pertaining to that same lightning apartments. It was requested that we release the partial deed restrictions, correct? By staff? Yeah, our attorney?
Yeah, so items A and B that you approved were for Rupert and Milky. Items C and D are from our village attorney, Hector De La Mora. So those requests, we took their verbiage. That's why everything's a little longer than normal.
I'll make a motion that we approve the partial release of deed restrictions in certain recorded documents.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the partial release of deed restrictions in certain recorded documents. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of a letter confirming two things. One, confirming that the Lutheran High School Association of Greater Milwaukee is current with respect to its payment under its pilot agreement with the village, and confirming that a substitute letter of credit in the amount of $47,737, I'm going to repeat that number again, $47,737 will be exchanged for the current letter of credit which the village has been holding to assure completion of the terms of the PUD agreement as part of the process of declaring the project substantially completed except for a limited punch list backed by an exchanged letter of credit in the amount of $47,737. Obviously, any motion stating that the approval of the letter confirming would be acceptable as opposed to having to reread all that in your motion.
I'll make a motion in approval of letter confirming items 1 and 2.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded move forward the approval of the letter confirming item 1 and 2 that has already been read. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Announcements.
That I was going to make 2 weeks ago, but I didn't think it was appropriate time. We had one of our employees, DPW laborers, Tom Rakowski. He retired after 30 years of service. We replaced him with a gentleman by the name of Sam Carl, who came from the town of Brookfield, DPW.
I've got 3 quick announcements. Chief Misko and Zach Bell are currently at the city of Waukesha for their Christmas Parade Award Ceremony. Officer Bell will be receiving an award tonight. Chief Misko met with Zimmerman for the building needs analysis. The final product is due the end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter next year. And the police department is currently addressing another subject residing on Hill Street who is currently in violation of our sex offender ordinance. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
I believe we have Chief Jambritz on Zoom. Do you have any items?
No, I don't have anything right now.
I hope you feel better soon, Chief.
Thanks very much.
Board? Let's go around the horn. Nada? Nothing?
I would just like to agree and state how great the election process went. We've had comments from the village, we've gotten emails. I went through it. It was smooth sailing, very well run. You guys, staff did a great job. It was very, very well done, and I heard that from a lot of different people outside of my own experience. So thank you very much.
I would agree. I think you did a fantastic job, Darlene, and to those on staff, Ryan, others that helped. I had a lot of really good comments, as it sounds like everybody did. I had one person that sent some, and I'll even say after the hard work Darlene put in, I almost found it to be a wacky comment of like, whoever ran that should be fired because I had to wait in line. Yeah, it's gonna happen, but I think you did a fantastic job, so.
Thank you, I appreciate the
If you look at the bell curve, we toss those to the side.
Yeah.
Obviously, we do want to listen to everybody, but yes, you will always wait in line when you come to vote unless you can time it perfect. With that, I do want to touch on, we had a moment of silence losing Ken Patterson. I know he served this country. He served on Hartland Lakeside School Board. He served on our Police and Fire Commission. He was really dedicated to his community, all around just a wonderful individual. I hope people will keep his family in his prayers. He leaves behind 2, they're not young children, but they're pretty young. 17 and 21, 20. So he'll be missed. He will be missed. I also want to add in, I did get a Freedom of Information Act request that was asking some stuff that was regarding the library. I did get together with the clerk and the village manager so that there was 2 witnesses, and going through, it was requested on text messages and any other electronics like, emails and stuff like that. Did provide that information, got that information out. I know there was some comments made, and based on what we have in the announcements section, I'm just communicating on something that was received from citizens. There was something about some deals that were going on. I'm not sure really where that came from. Amongst those text messages was an email of someone requesting a picture of books, because there was some, I know exactly what he was alluding to. He was alluding to stuff that was going on at the library, but he made a request. I never sent them. So I just wanted to let all of you know I would take that as no indication that there was any deals going on when he asked if he should point his son in the spot of the representative for the school, for the library. I simply told him that he should talk to the administrator or at the school district. So anybody that wants any other further details on that, with that being stated, I'd be more than happy to discuss it with them, but just wanted to put that out there for the board and staff so that you know that that isn't, there aren't underhanded workings going on there. We have a lot coming up. Obviously, Thanksgiving's coming up for everybody. I just wanted to throw out the dates, and please correct me if I'm wrong. There is December 2nd, I believe I'm right on this, is Hartland Lights. Marlene Milavolte again is at it, doing a very, very good job. I don't know if we ever did it at the board level, but I do want to send a special thank you to Marlene for her help in organizing the vigil that was held down at Nixon Park for the families. When she found out that the village was doing something, Ryan and I had talked, and all of a sudden she jumped and really helped. She contacted the schools before they were out, because they were off Thursday, Friday, and she made sure to call them before the end of the day Wednesday so that they could do that in announcements. I thank the schools for getting that announcement out so some of those families could come. It ended up being very nice. And I have 2 tickets to the holiday train. I will be taking that child, his name is Ariel, who got his siblings out of that apartment. The mom was at work. He's gonna go ride, we're gonna ride the holiday train from Hartland to Watertown. So hopefully doing something nice. I know there's a lot of fundraisers coming up. I encourage people to give all they can to, no, Leo, you will not be going. Let's continue to keep them in our prayers and all people throughout this time. Holiday train date would be the 9th.
5:30.
So let's try to really get that food, since we're finally getting the holiday train back again. Obviously, everybody knows that's a fundraiser to get the food into our food pantries, St. Vincent de Paul and Hartland Food Pantry. So everybody can start gearing up every time you're at the grocery store, buy 1, 2, or 10 extra cans of food or non-perishable items to get ready to donate so we can rock it. With that, we don't have another meeting before Thanksgiving, do we?
No, just planning commission.
Thanksgiving to everybody, because we don't have another meeting before then. So I'm thankful to be here, and I think everybody else is too, or here in the village. That concludes the announcements, unless anybody else has anything that they want to add.
I just wanted to add one. Excuse me. Wanted to add one thing. Laura, our library director, she is leaving after this week. She's made a big impact on the success of the Hartland Library, and I want to congratulate her on her future career and her choice that she felt was best for her family, and she's just done an outstanding job for our public library.
She absolutely has. Thank you. There's no other announcements at this time. We have consideration of a motion to recess to closed session pursuant to SS 19.85, Section 1, subsection G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, and to reconvene into open session pursuant to SS State Statutes 19.85, Section 2, for the purpose of considering any action as may be necessary and appropriate. Obviously, this would take a motion and a second, and the vote to go into closed session requires a roll call vote.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee DeBoer?
Yay.
Trustee Trushell?
Okay.
Yay.
Washliger?
Yay.
Trustee Hallquist?
Yay.
President Vanderstel?
Yay. At this time, we'll take a couple minutes, let Ben get shut down, and we'll go into closed session.